There we go. Welcome back, my friends, to Fuck Fine, where we believe in living life unapologetically and on our own terms. I am your host, Karsten Marie, here to guide you through another episode filled with candid conversation and inspiring insight. And today I am sitting down with sisters Amy and Nancy Harrington, who founded the Passionistas Project, and it came from a deep desire to empower women around the world. Both co-founders walked away from their high-profile jobs in Hollywood to work together. Amy is the vice president of visual effects and post-production for all feature films at Warner Brothers. We'll talk about that because that's so fun. Working on movies like Harry Potter, Matrix, and Batman franchises. I love it. Nancy left the ad agency where she created Academy Award-winning campaigns for Miramax. Now, Amy and Nancy shine a light on the positive stories of self-identified women and non-binary people through their media company. They've conducted over 1,600 interviews, including red carpet events and more than 70 one-on-one oral histories for the interviews of the Television Academy Foundation with pop culture icons like Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Rita Moreno, Lily Tomlin, Laverne Cox, Carol Burnett, and many others. I did not know this about you, beautiful ladies. Wow. They've also produced interviews for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, including a sit-down with Mick Jagger. They were handpicked by OWN and to be part of the VIP Digital Press Corps covering Oprah's Life class during Winfrey's tour of the U.S. and Toronto. Amy and Nancy founded the Passionistas Project in 2018, and through their podcast, Online Sisterhood and Power of Passionistas Summit, they strive to inspire women to follow their passions and join forces in the fight for equality for all. Ladies, thank you so much for being here. It's all a mouthful, but it is all so very true. And it's crazy to me. I know I've known pieces of each, like the background, but to hear it all in one, like that's a lot of things.
We've done a lot of things. We've been very blessed. We've had a fun life.
That's awesome. Audience, before we hopped on, we were talking about like I'm in this season of stillness, and these beautiful ladies were saying, well, wait, what's that like? And obviously we've not ever done still.
No.
Ever.
Never, ever. I love that.
Your moment of still.
Yeah.
We're even those kind of people on vacation that are like, okay, what are we going to do today?
Oh, I won't ever go on vacation with you then.
Yeah, I'm not a sit by the beach person.
Oh, I love you both, but I am. We're going to jump into the Passionistas Project in just a second, but I want to talk about what was the impetus in 2018 to make the pivot? Like, what was all of a sudden the decision to say, you know what, we're kind of done with this. Let's jump into Passionistas.
Yeah. I think it was the change in climate in the country. We had a new president. We had the women's movement was heating up with we went to our first women's march in 2017, and we got really inspired by that. The Me Too movement and Time's Up movement were happening. And we love pop culture. We are the pop culture passionistas first and foremost before we started the Passionistas Project. And we still love doing celebrity interviews and all of that, but we just wanted to do something more impactful and leave more of a mark on the world and help women, because we just kept hearing all of these stories of, women that needed to have a spotlight shined on them. So that's what inspired us to start it.
Beautiful. Yeah. I mean, you guys, listeners, I can attest to the fact. So they've created this beautiful community that I am a part of, that it is everything you would imagine a women's empowerment group to be about, right? It's not a personal development group where we're like, there's learning that's happening, but it's not, we're going to meet once a week and we're going to talk about this topic, and there's a place for those things, but this is a true community where people will post things in there, and like I still get responses from posts I did weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. Everybody stays on top of everybody's wins and struggles, and I think it's one of the most beautiful things that Nancy and I, when we started exploring what it meant to like how you build a community like this, a lot of it was like, well, in the beginning, we should do a learning community because it's going to be a long time before we get enough women to join for it to be worthwhile to make it a connection community. And so we really like had all this content planned that we're still doing, and it's still an amazing resource for everybody. And you can come and take courses every week if you want to. But we were blown away that within the very earliest stages of it, women are coming to connect. They are coming to, the very first thing we encourage everybody to do is introduce themselves. And everybody we talk to has that space set up to get alerts. And when they see somebody new has joined, they come right away and they read about her and they introduce themselves back. And they, and then we try and find, if someone new joins, we say like, oh, she's in finance, we should introduce her to Natalie. And we really try and make connections with women. So we've already had women come back to us and say like, oh, I met this woman and we want to do a workshop together for the community. And they're like connecting and meeting and really enjoying each other. And we just never thought that would happen within the first 2 months. We thought that would be a year down the road. So it's really exciting.
I love that. I can just see your faces are just beaming. You're like, this is what you envisioned it to be. Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
I wake up every morning and the first thing I do is go there and see like, oh, who's talking to who? It's so exciting.
Right. And I think the beautiful thing is you two are so engaged in the group too, right? Like sometimes when you have a community like this, it's relatively common, I think, for the host, the creator, the leader of the community to get things up and running and sort of make, isolated pop-in appearances. You guys are engaged in the group. You're commenting on everybody's, like, you're there with us. It's not like it's your group and we're in it. It's you are part of this same community.
Right.
Yeah, I think no, go ahead.
That's the vision of the sisterhood is we want to give we want to give everyone what Amy and I have.
Yeah.
We want you to be part of our sisterhood. We're not saying here's a community we set up for you, have at it. We want to be part of it. And that was our vision and it's happening. It's really exciting.
I love that. What were the first conversations about this like? I'm curious. Like, what was like okay, well, we're going to go do this. We have this motivation to support women. What were those early conversations like about what it was going to look like?
Well, it's evolved so much, right? So the very first conversation was, I actually woke up one night in the middle of the night with the thought, oh my God, we need to help women. Mm-hmm. And Nancy and I have had this crazy path together where we just left our careers and we were like, let's go work together. And we really didn't know what that was going to be. So for the last 20 years, Nancy and I have taken so many twists and turns in our journey together. And what's so bizarre is that it is and isn't bizarre because we've been best friends since the day I was born. But it always amazes me that every twist one of us has suggested we take, the other one is like, yeah, that sounds great. And things that like we are shy, introverted people at heart. And so when it became time, like, okay, you guys, we have this opportunity to start interviewing people. And that led to like these celebrity interviews that are very high pressure. And it was like, great. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. So when it was like, hey, we should shift gears here and start a podcast that is all about women and not about pop culture at all, it was like, yeah, okay, that sounds good. So it's just been this beautiful journey together. And when the community idea came about, it came out of left field for us because what happened is at the beginning of 2023, we were just feeling like we're not on the right path anymore. The overall vision is right. The overall desire to help women is right, but we're not making it happen the way we need to. Mm-hmm. And we happened to have someone who had spoken at a summit who we started talking to, and she said, stop thinking about what you do and start thinking about what your community needs.
Mm.
And we were like, oh, we've never done that. We always think like we do interviews, we are producers, and we never stop to say, who is our ideal woman? Who are really our core members? And what do they need from us? And that's when we started to realize that the women we know are entrepreneurs who are doing it on their own, or they're women in transition. And they all kept saying the same thing. Like Nancy said, they all kept saying, I wish I had what you had. But they also kept saying, like, I feel really alone. I don't know. I don't have any support. I don't know if I can keep going. I'm so stressed out. I feel lost. And we were like, oh, okay. Well, if we can all we're all saying, and I have to add, a lot of them are from diverse and marginalized communities. So we were like, if we can all come together and work together and support each other on our individual issues that seem so different, we'll all realize that we're very similar. We're all looking for the same thing, and we can all help each other. We all have the skills to help each other. And so that's kind of where this iteration of it came from.
Yeah. And what's interesting was we worked with a coach, and we actually worked with 3 coaches, but the branding coach had us start from the very beginning. What are your 4 key values? And we kept circling around and circling around and circling around. And she kept trying to like nudge us in a certain direction. And we're like, no. And, we had thought about the word sisterhood for a long time. And quite honestly, we thought because we work with so many diverse and marginalized communities, we felt like the sisterhood word had been reclaimed by women in the Black community.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought, we don't want to tread on that. We don't want to step on toes. What do we do? And finally, one day we came around to the fact that, you know what? It's not stepping on anyone's toes. We are sisters. And we are welcoming people into our sisterhood.
Yeah.
No matter what race, creed, color, anything. So, and obviously all of the Black women that we have talked to in our community have no problem with it. It was just this this limiting belief that we put on ourselves.
Isn't it funny?
To stop us. And the day that it dawned on us, like, duh, sisterhood.
Yeah. Like, it's there, right? Yeah.
And we told our coach, and she was like, yeah, I've just been waiting.
I've just been waiting. I knew you'd get there. It's fine. Yeah. It's been inspiring to watch your patience, the intention with which you do things, the forethought and foresight. Like you said, I know there's been so many iterations. I'm sure there's been so many unexpected pivots along the way, but it's inspiring as someone who is more fly by the seat of my pants a little bit. It's been inspiring to watch, like, you have like months down the road, like this is the vision and this is where we're headed. And you're very intentional about everything that goes into it. And yet it feels just so effortless all at the same time.
Well, that's good. Someone brand new that we met yesterday, this amazing woman named Vanessa Hill, said to us, "You're ducks. I know you're ducks." And she was like, "You look very calm on the surface, but you are paddling furiously."
Yeah, I would agree with that. That is absolutely correct.
But I appreciate you saying all that, and that means a lot. And I do think Nancy and I have talked about this a lot recently, as our next course is about finding your purpose. And so we've been talking a lot with the woman, Kylie Stone, who is the coach we were referring to earlier. She's teaching the course. And
I have to reach out to her because she wants to be on the podcast.
Oh, you have to. She's amazing.
I tried to connect with her on LinkedIn and I don't think she got the connection. So I got to go find her. I'll get into Circle and find her. But
she's an unbelievable. You will love her. And but we were talking about it, and it's like, I think the reason that we can seem so together, and we do have a vision, and we do have, like, we have all of our courses and classes posted through August, which is probably the furthest Nancy and I have ever been able to plan that we've done. And it's because we're so clear on what our mission is. And we so believe, like, even on the days, and we have them, and we had 1 or 2 this week where we wake up and we're like, is anybody out there? Hello? Are we shouting into
Bueller.
exactly, Bueller. And but at the end of the day, we know what we're doing. This is the thing we were meant to do. Everything has led to this. Everything, even bizarre things, bizarre odd jobs that we have done, because Nancy and I have done a lot of bizarre odd jobs. Every day we're like, oh my God, that's why we almost built a cable network, which seems nonsensical, like weird things, because this is it. This is the moment. This is the purpose that we were put here to do this. And so it's, even if we lose sight of like, okay, paying the bills next week might be a little challenging. The vision is not, the mission is not.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it look so simple and is the thing that makes it easier than, it's kind of juggling all the other stuff and keeping the balls afloat to keep the company going. That's the hard part. The actual doing of the community is really easy because we know exactly what we want it to be.
I love that. I feel like the community that you guys have created, and like you said, in such a short amount of time, really, like you had this, like, this is a year-long vision, we'll get to this point, and we're 2 months in and it looks like this or whatever it is. But I feel like what you guys have created, this beautiful blend of community and having sort of the tiered effect where if you want to participate in certain courses, and like there are courses for those that want it, and like I feel like there are so many entrepreneurs out there that that's their dream, right? When they go and they start their little, I shouldn't say little, oh my gosh, I don't mean to diminish it, but when they go and start a Facebook community, for example, they have your vision in their head, something like that. And they really struggle to create that for themselves. And so I just, kudos to you ladies. Cause like I said, I feel like it's that intention that you've put into it. And it's that keeping the mission at the forefront, not just like you said, well, I'm a coach or I'm a this, and this is what I do. And this is how I can serve. And this is what's convenient for me. Right. It's here's a platform that I can, and here's how I can serve the women. And it truly, just knowing you ladies, just for the audience that are listening, we met each other through our business coach, Julie, in our weekly meetings there, and being a part of your community. It is evident. It oozes from your pores that the mission is like your priority. Like that is just so clear. And I think that that's why it's happened so quickly for you, because when people come into your community, they just know that this is a good, safe, and nourishing space. It's not another group that I'm going to be a part of and not check in. It's just not that. It truly is welcoming and home, and like that's there, and it oozes from you ladies all the time.
Thank you. That warms my heart.
I know. I'm speechless by that. We want people to feel. I'm so glad you used the word home.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of sisterhood. And the thing that people keep saying to us is like, I can just come and be myself.
Yeah.
We have people show up to do interviews and their hair is wet, and they, or they like come and they say, I'm struggling. Like they just post like, I'm struggling, I'm suffocating. Right. And everybody, but Dr. Melissa Bird, who's one of our Power Passionistas, pointed out, but also no one's coming to the rescue of anybody. It's not a group where women are coming and women-splaining, as Nancy and I have experienced in other places lately, where it's like, I don't want you to solve my problem. I just want to know, A, that there's support, or B, if you have a suggestion, like here, okay, I'm looking for work.
Right.
Oh, well, you do this. Have you considered this? And so it's just a really beautiful energy around it. It's not there's nothing toxic. There has not been a second of toxicity in
No.
the space.
And, you know, I can say I am one who just in the craziness of life, I don't always check into groups as often as I would like, but I don't ever feel like guilt or shame about it. It's more of a guilt of like, I want to be there. I wish I like,
Yeah.
I leave the notifications unread so that I remember like, no, I want to go check into that. It's not like, I don't want, but I love it. Cause it really is, again, like home, like as my adult children, they come, they go, they're here, they're not, but it's just always a safe place to land.
Yeah.
We have never been that friend. We all have that friend that you haven't seen in a long time, and you get together for dinner. And the first thing they say to you is, it's been so long since I've seen you. When are we going to do this again?
Yeah.
We just got here, and I'm sorry that our schedules are conflicted.
Sorry, it's been busy. No, it's more, to continue the metaphor, it's more the friend of, I haven't seen you in a long time, and we're going to pick up right where we left off.
Yeah.
And it's going to be fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I love you, and I know you're busy, and we're here when you're ready.
Yeah.
Life happens. It's judgment-free zone.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
And I know that my participation in the group, I know that I've only just tapped the surface. I can't imagine those that have already really dug in. That's got to be so powerful.
Yeah. Well, it's here when you have time, and when you're looking for something specific and something speaks to you.
Yeah, for sure.
You
For
can
sure.
dive in.
I know you ladies, so I think I know the answer to this, but I also know listeners are wondering, what is it like to work with your sister? And I know you guys get asked that all the time, but it's a mandatory question.
It's a nightmare. Get me out.
I know that you guys are really in sync with each other quite a lot.
We are crazy, scary in sync. It's like, we say that we share a brain because we really, really do. We very, very rarely disagree. I mean, hardly ever.
Oh my gosh.
So we're just so lucky. You know, it's beautiful. I wake up every day and know that somebody has my back no matter what. We almost always are in sync, where if one of us is having a bad day, the other one isn't, and can hop right in and take over. Every once in a while, we're both in the same place, and I'm like, oh, all right. And we try to lift each other up.
We'll just take today off.
Usually in those times, we have a call with a Passionista, and they lift us right up.
There you go.
I think we were both kind of there yesterday in the morning. We're like, okay, today's one of those days we got to rally. And we had 3 of the most amazing calls we've ever had. This beautiful women that we hadn't met before, and you know, very synchronous. What's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, full of synchronicity.
I also have to say, it's really fun. Like Nancy and I can giggle over the stupidest things, like we did when we were little kids, and we, you know, even in the stressful times, if we get in a room together, we laugh, and we really just enjoy each other so much that it's like, I wouldn't take a job where I made $5 million a year if it meant I couldn't work with Nancy. You know, it's just like, it just fills my heart every day.
I love that. I love my sister. She is my best friend, but I don't know if I could work with her. So I love that for you guys.
Yeah.
We're really lucky.
Yeah. It's so beautiful. Are you willing to share any future plans for Passionistas Project? Or are they on the down low right now?
No, I mean,
what's next then for the group, or for the?
You go, Amy.
Yeah, I mean, you know, within the sisterhood, we have a few areas that we're still hoping to expand. So we have our Power Passionistas, who are our resident experts. And it is women like our business coach, Julie DeLuca Collins.
Yes.
Our spiritual.
Everywhere. That woman is everywhere. I don't know how she has time to sleep.
She's amazing. And she's connected us to so many women. And every time she connects us with them, it's like, God, she's good at that. She's good at knowing exactly who to introduce us to.
Yeah, she really is.
That's a real skill. So Julie's there, and then we have Dr. Melissa Bird, who is like our spiritual guru and tarot reader, and just She's our soul.
Mm.
We have Crystal Lanice Walker, who's our DEI expert, and
Mm.
Stephen, who gives us political action items every day. And we have Lauren Best, who's our hypnotherapist. And we have Catherine Gray, who is a venture capital expert for women. And who am I forgetting?
Denaya Scanvarino, who's an affiliate marketing expert.
Mm-hmm.
I love the diversity of
who's a
that.
disability activist.
Selene Luna. So we have these amazing women who are our resident experts. We want to expand that. We have a program where people can apply for basically for the price of membership. We can make them a Power Passionista if they fit in with the vibe and have something great to contribute. So we want to expand that more. And then we have Passionistas, the Passionistas podcast network that you're a part of. We list women hosted podcasts so that people don't have to search the internet for us all. Because once again, it's one of those areas where female podcasters just don't get the exposure that regular, that male
They
podcast.
get classified as women owned. So you can't go to Apple or Spotify and say, I want to hear women owned podcasts. Nope,
Yeah.
do that.
So we want to expand that more. We want to build up the podcast network and welcome more podcasts into it. And then we have Passionistas TV, which is where we run our the replays of a lot of our podcasts and live events. But we are going to do a pilot for our first show, hopefully in June, and that's going to be kind of a it's interesting. We talked about it with someone today. It's kind of going to be like a View type situation where there's a panel of women, but it's going to be a deep dive. So we're going to have a guest who's a member of the community who has an issue that they want to discuss, whether it's they're trying to build their business and they've hit some roadblock, or they're trying to transform themselves personally, but they're not sure how to do it. And we're going to have a panel of experts that relate to that topic, and the person can share their passion and what their issue is, and we will collectively give her advice and feedback and talk it all through. So we are starting that hopefully in, like I said, at end of June, beginning of July, and that will be either probably a monthly thing ultimately. But we're starting to talk to other women about potential pilots for the Passionistas TV network. And I think the way that's going to start is doing some workshops with people.
Sure.
and checking out the vibe of what they want to do. And then if we like it, we'll bump it up to a more regular series. So we really want to expand that.
Yeah. And we want to hear from women in the community what they want. Like, we want them to tell us what you want, and we'll make it happen. Yeah. We're really good at making things happen. So
you really are. Tell
us what you want.
And, when I hear all of these things, like my entrepreneur brain goes into like, oh my God, that's so much. Like, how are they keeping track of all of it? But at the same time, you guys do it all so well. And again, I think it's that duck analogy, right? Like on the surface, you look very calm, but I'm sure underneath you're like, oh my God. But you just, you do things like, I'm thinking of the TV network component of it. Like that's right in your wheelhouse.
Right. Yeah. We're producers at heart. I mean, that's where we're both trained. We're both producers. So,
and the nurturing of the community and being a participant in that is one aspect, but these other components really are, they speak to that, right? To your background in production and so, like even just podcast, all of it. So you've married all of the things just beautifully.
It's crazy. It's all come together in this one thing.
I love it. That's amazing. I'm so happy for you ladies.
Thank you. We're grateful for you being a part of it and for your support. It's really helped. You've made some really great suggestions along the way that have really helped us.
Good. I know before we started recording, I was talking to these ladies about, I miss being in our weekly groups now that I have a real job. Like I love my job, but I miss that piece of it, just connecting with everybody every week and getting that feedback and input. But that's why we're connected. That's why we're connected in the Passionistas group.
Exactly. We're here for you.
Love it. What has been your favorite part so far?
I think seeing the connections happen, like,
Yeah.
it's just been magical, and unexpected, like the people that are finding each other. It's like, oh, that one didn't occur to me. I think that's
Oh,
been
yeah.
the really fun part,
Love it.
Yeah, I think that, and also it's amazing now that women are finding us that we don't know.
Mhm.
And so when we look at the new members, we're like, we'll text each other and be like, have you ever heard of so
Yeah.
and so? It's like, nope, no idea. And
So-
some of them we can trace back, and some of them we're still trying to figure out how they found us.
So is that like for me, when I get to that point in any part of my business, that becomes kind of a moment of a little bit of dissonance where I'm like, ooh, this is really exciting. Cause like, look I'm getting out there. But wait a minute. And like who is this person? Am I supposed to let them into the group? Like there's this weird sort of dynamic that happens in that moment where it's like, okay, this is what I wanted.
Yeah.
But also, wait a minute. Ooh.
No,
so
we
interesting.
haven't
How
felt
did that feeling?
I think because we know that whoever they heard about us was from a good source, because we're not,
Okay.
So, no, we get really excited. We don't have that trepidation.
Good.
Maybe we'll have it as it gets bigger, and we
Yeah.
don't always.
I think it starts to become that realization of, oh gosh, this is actually growing into something, right? And then it's like, oh, okay. All right. This is actually really happening now.
Yeah.
I also think that if they come and they don't know us and they poke around for a little bit and we're not their thing, our one of our Passionistas, Dia Bondi, always says, those are not your people.
Right.
And they will weed themselves out.
Yeah.
And so far, there's certainly some people who are more active than others. But there's a lot of women that we don't know that like really have jumped in feet first, and it's thrilling. And the greatest joy of this entire thing, besides the working with each other part, is when you do a celebrity interview, especially these archival interviews that we do that are like 3 or 4 hours long. By the end of it, you're like, oh my God, Julia Louis-Dreyfus is my new best friend. She loves me. Like, we're going to go out to dinner. This is going to be great. And then like, you may at some point run into that person at like a red carpet thing. And you're like, hey, oh, you don't know me. You're like,
You don't remember.
and so we
were besties for 3 hours. You don't remember, but we were.
3 of the greatest hours of our lives. And we'll but so when we started doing the Passionistas project, we were like, all right, we'll interview people and then we'll never see them again. It'll be fine. And we have developed such intense, powerful relationships with people. We were saying the other day, like, most of our dearest friends in the world now, we have never met in person.
Yeah.
Like, we might meet Julie DeLuca Collins in June in New York. We're going to be there, and she may come. And it'd be like, oh my God, we've been dear friends with Julie for 4 years now.
Yeah.
We're finally going to get to hug Julie.
Hug her. And yeah.
And so
isn't that crazy?
It's crazy. And
I've never met anybody from our coaching group face to face. I know they are like, because I haven't gotten to get to Pearl's retreat. Right. Yeah. So yeah, I've never met any of them face to face. It's like, oh, all right.
Yeah. It's so weird.
Yeah.
But these connections are so intense, and it's been this unexpected benefit. Like, we're doing this for everybody else, but the benefit for us is just this amazing group of women that are there for us and support us too. So, we always joke that old hair club for men thing, like, we're not just members, not just the president, we're members too.
We're members too.
We totally get it. Like, we get what it's like to be a Passionista. And, when we started the Pop Culture Passionistas, we were very much like, no, Nancy and I are the Passionistas. And we didn't share that word with other people.
I remember when I first met you, there was just, I don't remember how it went, but I do remember there was like discussion about it, about what we were going to call the group and why. And I remember that a little bit.
Yeah. And then we realized, like, no, we're all Passionistas. And once that opened up, it's changed our lives in the most amazing way.
Isn't it funny, those tiny tweaks? Like you said, even just owning the word sisterhood and knowing that that was okay. Like
Yeah.
sometimes those tiny little things are the switch that like turns, like just the magic happens.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Totally.
that's crazy. I know
Totally.
that's happened for me stepping. I don't want to, I tell people, it's not that I have stepped away from my business. It's like I need a little bit of a reset here, but I've had some of the most beautiful sort of revelations about things like what really is the message I want to put out into the world. And so it's
Mhm.
been beautiful. But again, it's just that one tiny tweak. Like I applied for this job on a random Friday afternoon. It was the first one I'd applied for. I'd never heard of the company and I did not even expect to hear back from them. And it's been the most beautiful fit and the most beautiful transition. And it has created, like, sending that one stinking application
Yeah.
has created all these other things, like the domino effect of all the other beautiful things, right? And it's the same thing, like you're saying, like it's that one thing. It's owning the language of sisterhood and letting go of we're the passionate, like those teeny tiny little things. It's crazy how much impact they can have.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
Crazy. So
I love the universe. She never lets us down.
no, she really doesn't. She really doesn't. She doesn't. And don't you find I'm really starting to understand in my heart, not just my head, the idea of letting go to make space for things. And like, if you're constantly pushing and trying and struggling, then something's not about that is not meant for you.
Yeah.
Right? Because when it's meant for you, it truly does become effortless. And I remember hearing that, thinking, well, if it's supposed to be effortless, why am I struggling? Why am I struggling? If it's supposed to, and all of a sudden then okay. I get it.
This Vanessa Hill woman we talked to yesterday said this most amazing, mind-blowing thing, which was, she's very spiritual, and she said, I'm here to think about the how and the why, and God and
No,
was it
she
no.
said,
No.
I
It's
have it written down. I have it written down. She said, I am here to think about the who, what, and why, and God will take care of the how and when.
Yeah.
And
I
it was
love
like,
it.
oh my God.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that is a perfect frame for that.
Mhm.
Crazy. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, ladies, thank you so much.
Thank
This has
you.
been so
Fabulous.
beautiful. Audience, thank you for tuning in to this amazing episode. You know the drill. Go like, follow, comment, share, do all of the things. But before we sign off, if you want more of the Passionistas and if you want to be part of the community, ladies, what do they need to do? We're going to have links in the bio or links in the
Show
what is
notes.
that thing called? Thank you, the show notes. Like links in the bio, that's not right. Links and stuff in the show notes, but how can they find you, or what's the
easiest way is thepassionistasproject.com.
Okay.
There's links to the sisterhood there. There's links to all our socials. So
Okay.
we're an
Beautiful.
email away.
I love it. Well, thank you again so much. Any final thoughts before we sign off, ladies?
No, we're just so grateful to you, and we're so glad that
Oh,
we met you through Julie's
I am so glad I met you,
community,
ladies.
and we love what you're doing, and we love that you've given yourself space to explore, and we just wish you the best of luck, and we're glad you're in our sisterhood.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be there. Thank you for having me in it. It's an amazing place.
Thank
More
you
to
so
come.
much.
Awesome. Thank you again, audience, for tuning in. Go push all the buttons and come back for the next episode. This is the weird, awkward part that never. There it goes. And I always have to, there's two buttons.
It is weird on.
And it's not, oh my gosh.